John Licht here. Today I'm going to demo my fully automated accounting system. This is a dream come true for me. I haven't had to categorize a transaction. I haven't had to worry about financial planning, and I haven't had to worry about text preparation in months. This is a fully automated system. I did this for my own personal use and for my real estate business. This is a massive accelerator for either your own personal financial needs or for any business. So I'm excited to show this demo. This is a game changer and a dream come true for me. All right, so let's start with transactions. Let me first be very clear. This is not financial advice by any means. Also, all names and numbers that I'm going to show here are fully anonymized. So this should be a very familiar screen for anyone who does their own books where transactions are reviewed. Typically, what you would create in something like a QuickBooks or Mintuit or something like that are a series of rules. So pretty straightforward. But so what I have here is Alvin the accountant. And what Alvin will do is every night he will attempt to apply rules to every transaction. That's straightforward, nothing unique there. But here's something I like to do in all of my AI builds. It's the principle of iterative learning. So this feature I have here is if Alvin can't figure something out, I have this feature where I can then teach him something. So let's teach him about PennDOT. So I'll tell him this is accurate. Any charge from PennDOT should always have this categorization and personal attribution. And I teach this to him. The reason why this is helpful is because instead of me spending a ton of time up front to figure out all my rules, I can provide my agent just my own stream of consciousness. Alvin will learn over time. He will create those rules and he will apply those rules. This is helpful because you can get products to market way faster. But then also, as my personal books change and things change, this gives me the dynamicism to continue to train him over time. Next, we're going to go over to Tristan, the tax preparer. So this is another principle. So something like tax preparation, I didn't want automated, right? I wanted some sort of generative intelligence. So Tristan is going to go out in batch, read through pertinent IRS documentation, look through all my transactions, look at the instructions I provided him, and then he will produce the 1120S for my business. And again, these are all made up names, but so here's my 1120S. And then also for my real estate portfolio, he's going to produce a Schedule E. Why this is really helpful is because anytime I want, I can see my tax exposure for the year. So I took a look at this a bit ago. I realized I was going to be paying a lot of taxes for 2026. So then I can also work with Tristan for a couple different scenarios, right? So what you see here are basically what I would make with two different cost segregations that I went and scoped out. So key principle here is if you have a high cost model you're running, best practice is to do that in batch. Next, I have Agatha, the auditor. So again, as you're building agents, what's best practice in enterprise and for small businesses is you want one agent to do your execution. You typically want another to review that. And then you want a third to audit. So Agatha is going to go through. She scours IRS documentation. She looks at everything that Alvin's done, everything Tristan has done, and she provides a report to me for any inconsistencies that I should look at. Now let's go to a couple of these really cool features. So I love this. This is my personal burndown. So this shows me my average burndown for the month, which includes my real estate portfolio, basically any cash flowing to me separate from my business. And it tells me how I'm trending for the month. So we can see I'm spending a little more than I typically would. The reason why this is so helpful is because it helps me drive decisions in real time. So here's another agent. I call this Aristotle. Aristotle, my advisor. So the reason why this is helpful is because I can access this via mobile. So right now I'm sharing my screen on a laptop, but this screen is optimized for mobile. So I asked Aristotle, what's my monthly spend? And when do you think I'll be able to accomplish one of my early tax payment objectives, right? I want to pay all my 2026 taxes early. He went through, did all this analysis, basically said I'm overspending, but my income is actually up. Again, this is a made up number. Just want to be very clear. But he went and got one of my goals from my goals tab here. These are all my financial goals and when I want to accomplish them. And based on my spending, he's given me a recommendation for when he thinks I should actually make this payment. And again, pretend if you're busy like me, you're probably spending some time traveling in the back of Uber, a lot of different things where you may not have a laptop. So this is super valuable for me so that I can be productive from my phone. So from my phone, maybe I was trying to figure out some work I want to do to one of my properties. So given this answer, I realized that since this goal will be accomplished by September, I asked Aristotle to create a task for me. So I want to create a task where I'm going to actually look at putting a tiny home on one of my properties so I can stay there and work on it. So this is another feature where when you have agents, you want to be careful about their create, read, update, delete permissions. Best practice from what I see, if you're going to do something like this where you give an agent access to everything and that they can do things, I want him to put this in a queue, right? So this agent doesn't have the permissions to create things, but he can create a queue for me, right? So imagine you're on your mobile phone as you're planning whatever you want to plan. You're talking to your agent on your mobile phone. That agent is then preparing a queue for me. When I get back to my laptop, I can then review all these, approve these, or reject them. The last feature I'm going to show, and this makes me so happy, is this diagram here. So this is a diagram of a sample company of all the cash flows. So what this does for a sample rental portfolio, if you have some sort of a scenario where you have a management company that's paying expenses for let's say an owner, and if you have a company where individuals are making purchases on their personal cards or whatever, and then asking for reimbursements, tracking cash flows and balancing your books can be very challenging. And it takes a lot of time. But so what we see here is for a given rental portfolio that's flowing into a sample management company, we see the split rents where 35% is attributed to the management, 35% is attributed to the owner. We can see one of my accounts is off. The reason for that is every month I just upload all my accounting statements and my agents will go through, they'll balance all the books and they'll highlight any discrepancies. And then at any time in real time, I can look here, I can see real transfers, I can see rental distributions, and I can see reimbursements and how they flow through all of these accounts for a sample real estate company. So that's the end of this product demo. And here's the key takeaway is me as an owner, I didn't have to learn AI to do this. All I had to do is know how to apply AI, and it's very easy. The thing that dictates success in the age of AI isn't the knowledge of AI, it's expertise for a given subject matter area. So I've had this rental real estate business for a long time. I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew all the nuances, all the issues, all the challenges. So the way you build something like this, leverage something like a Claude or a ChatGPT or whatever you want, plan out your build. Just list everything you want, all the constraints you can think of, all the specifics about your business. The end deliverable should be a technical specification with a phased build. AI can help you do that. You take that and you upload that into some sort of IDE. So I'm using VS Code with Claude Chat plugin. After you do that, and it takes some time, as you build each phase, just with you in the loop as an owner who's the expert, look at what was built and provide feedback to the agent. If you do that as the owner, you're going to be able to save massive amounts of money instead of going and hiring someone else who doesn't know about your business. And you also have a much higher quality product because you can get exactly what you're looking for.